Hey everybody, Taylor Lyles with the Greenville Home Builders Association, and this is the Think Big podcast. Good morning and welcome to the Think Big podcast. I am your host, Taylor Lyles, Chief Executive Officer of the Home Builders Association, and I'm beyond excited to have a little bit of a different guest today. More talking land. I've got Tyler Whims with Reedy Land Co. and Reedy Property. Y'all are in store for an absolute treat today. From the development side to lot deliveries, we're super excited. Tyler, thank you for coming on the show.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Tell us a little bit about you. Tell us a little bit about Reedy.
Sure. So Reedy is a company that was compiled of about 40 brokers. We have a property management side too. So Reedy Property Group is the hub, and then we've got property management, commercial real estate, land, and then we just opened a residential division 2 weeks ago. So
Congratulations.
we're wheeling and dealing.
I love it. Yeah. How long's Reedy been around?
Reedy, to its core, has been around since 2014, 15. Kind of the concept was originally just a property management company. A couple guys managing some properties.
Yeah.
And it turned into more of a professional set up in 2016, 17. We've jumped around from different offices around town. We were on Lawrence Road, then we went to Pendleton Street over by OJ's Diner, then we went into the West End. Then a couple years ago purchased the old Maserati dealer on Lawrence Road, and that was kind of the hub. And now we're in the old Floor Daniel building over off Main Street, and we have all of our kind of sections together.
I love it.
So, yeah.
Now y'all, so for people listening, it's the Landmark building.
Yes.
Right there on the corner of Main and
that's correct.
Going into downtown.
Yes, that is correct.
And y'all purchased that building.
Yeah, so one of our funds is the main managing partner of that building. So
fantastic.
We're partnered with a couple different entities, but one of the entities that we manage in-house with one of our it's called Dunning Capital Management and Kappa Real Estate. They're two different funds, and they help manage all of that.
I love it.
So,
So Reedy kind of covers a large format.
Yeah, absolutely. We geographically are pretty widespread throughout the Upstate. The Upstate is our core. We're all from here.
Yep.
But we're trickling down to the coast a little bit, Charleston area. We just bought some really cool property in Georgetown. And then we're in the northern Georgia, northeast Georgia, southwest North Carolina. So we're kind of trickling in.
Okay.
Some different territories.
Yep.
So like Reedy as a whole, our geographic span is the Upstate at its core. We're trickling down towards the coast. We have a large commercial presence in Columbia that we've been working on through our commercial sector. Augusta, couple things by the beach, Charleston, Seabrook, small little investments over that way. We're working on building those sectors, if you will. And then we're also in northeast Georgia and southwest North Carolina.
Okay. So really the Carolinas, Georgia.
Yeah.
You kind of moving more into Georgia, or you kind of staying on that mountain area?
We're looking forward to seeing what kind of opportunities present themselves. So that's not our core focus. We all live here.
Yep.
But we're always open to growing when it makes sense.
Of course.
We've kind of rode that natural wave. So if good people come along, which they always do, everyone that we work with, we're all interconnected somehow. It's somebody's brother-in-law or somebody that used to work with somebody. We're all connected, and kind of as time goes on, our geographic footprint grows just because we are bringing in more relationships into our company, and it's just everybody's putting the Reedy hat on and going to work together.
Yep, I love it. Y'all just brought in another land group not too long ago.
Jinx Realty.
Yeah.
Jinx Patrick is just has a uber amount of land experience. He had his own firm, him and a couple other guys, and I mean he's been wheeling and dealing dirt for 20 years. Has far more knowledge when it comes down to the very specific details of the agricultural side of things, and he's just brought a huge value to us. We've been focusing on doing similar stuff that he's used to doing, but also focus on an entirely different product also. So now we're just kind of, bringing it all under one roof.
Fantastic. I love it.
Yeah.
So Reedy wears many hats, but at the bread and butter of it, kind of buying land, turning it over to developers or using it for yourself.
Sure.
From ag to, I imagine, hunting property and leases to what I really want to talk about today is this mini farm product that y'all do.
Sure, yeah. So we do a little bit of everything. We have worked with, 500, 600, 700, flirting with 1,000-acre parcels a little further south, like Clinton, Columbia area. We're looking at a piece right now by the beach that's much bigger than that. So we can do that. We focus in the Upstate on mini farm product, which is what we categorize it as 5 acres to maybe 50-acre product. So if you were Mr. Landowner X and you were in a popular area like Woodruff or something like that, you've probably been getting called by lots of different kinds of developers, and sometimes somebody might not want a higher density product, which is fine, it's their prerogative, it's their land, but we might be able to supersede their value as an agricultural or recreational piece of land by bringing a more controlled product to market. Not so much the high dense, but just a controlled density, and that ends up being 5 to 25, maybe 50 acres. So if the basic math is if you have a 100-acre piece of land and it lays correctly, we could potentially turn it into 10 5-acre pieces and then 5 10-acre pieces and sell it that way. So it takes money to do it, but you end up having a little bit of a lower dense price point than your quarter acre lots, but usually that is higher than the recreational value.
Of course.
So
when did y'all start kind of saying, all right, we see a missing market, we see an opportunity? How long ago was that, and kind of how long have y'all been working on this mini farm stuff?
Our first mini farm deal in the Upstate was 2018-19.
Okay.
So we worked on a farm down in Fountain Inn. It was a personal investment that myself and some other guys bought, and we just decided to kind of try it. And we ended up selling it off in anywhere between 5-6 acres all the way up to some 40-acre pieces. And we did really well. If that was to market in today's world, probably would have sold out at double the sales price. It's just gotten so popular down that way.
Yeah.
So we kind of took that model and then applied it to some of our clients, and brought them in on how it works, and we're able to kind of offer that as a different type of sales out. And some people like it, and so, some people are like, hey, that's great, I'll sell it to somebody to do that. Or maybe they don't want it, which is fine too. We can also sell just third-party recreational land. So if somebody wants to sell a 120-acre site and they want it to stay that way, we can walk them through how to make sure that it stays that way.
Yep.
Put it in conservation for them if they want it, or put some covenants and restrictions on it, which are just a little bit of a lighter version of conservation, and have lots of examples that we've done in-house, and kind of just find what it is that they're wanting to do with it, and then make some recommendations of how to bring it to market, when to bring it to market, what kind of price point, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. That's the concept is beautiful, because you get somebody that wants the space, they don't want to be in a neighborhood, they don't want to be in the city, but they don't necessarily want to maintain
Sure.
25, 30,
Yeah.
50, 100 plus acres.
25 acres is a lot more dirt than people think. 5 acres is more land than people realize that
Yeah.
it is, But I use this example a lot. So if you had a dual income household in Boston or New York or something like that, they might make pretty good money, a couple $100,000 a year combined, and they might live in $1 million condo or flat, is what they call it up there. And you can essentially move down here. So COVID changed a lot of things. A lot of people can work remotely now. It's more of a social norm. Come down to Gray Court, which you or I, growing up here might say, well, Gray Court, I don't know if that's so popular or not, but the reality of today's world is 15 minutes from Simpsonville.
Yep.
Right? So when people are coming to Greenville and they want to live in a secondary municipality, we're able to bring them a product that's a few rings away, but at a super affordable price point, and it lets them stretch out so they can be all in on their house at maybe $500,000 or $600,000 and have half their money back and have a horse and whatever. If you want to play the whole farm thing,
they got cattle, they got chickens. I don't know. I may do it just to get chickens with the price of eggs right now.
Yeah, that's a whole nother conversation, but absolutely.
So popularity of many farms, we know you vetted it in 1819. Fast forward to 2025, you're seeing it.
Yeah, we've our process has become, we've sharpened our pencil. We're pretty darn good at it.
Yeah.
If we get control over a product, whether it's something that a client of ours is buying and wants to do, or we're doing it internally, or maybe it's just a true third party, hey, I want to sell just a couple. I have 80 acres and I want to sell 10 acres off as 5 acre sites. Like that happens sometimes.
Yep.
From the point of, with at reasonable scale, like if it's less than 10 sites, we can, from the point of saying, yeah, we want to do it to bring it to market, we probably do it in 60 to 90 days.
Really?
So we've got a whole process, a whole system that enables us to be able to do that. And then it hits. I mean, the values as a whole in the Upstate, it's 5 acres. I would say like the top value. There's always exceptions, but you're probably good to say that you can just about buy whatever 5 acres you want, within reason, obviously, for $300,000 or less. Some areas that are a little further away from a grocery store, or maybe they're a third ripple municipality, so it's not like a Gray Court to a Simpsonville, but a Waterloo to a Gray Court to a Simpsonville.
Yeah,
like something like you might be able to pick up 5 acres for $80,000. So if you've got a budget of $70,000, if you can hit that budget, you can buy 5 acres. It might not be like Fountain Inn. That might cost you $200 or $250.
Yep.
But you can find the product and it's available.
So naturally, I've got to ask this question because I spent many a summers on Lake Greenwood.
Sure.
Many a summers. And driving through Waterloo,
Yeah.
I always thought that it would never be developed. And you're seeing developers go in Greenwood proper. Stony Point got bought. Mm-hmm. They're flipping that. They're turning that into an incredible golf course.
Yep.
Are you seeing, I know Gray Court came into the conversation a couple years ago.
Yeah.
Past Gray Court, that Waterloo, kind of from Greenwood, where 72 is, to Gray Court. Are you seeing that land start to truly turn?
It is an area that I think is a lot of value. So I have a listing there right now that we're doing kind of a refresh on it. The owner wanted to take it off the market and wait till springtime. So we're bringing it back, and it's 27 acres with a brand new metal building on it on slab. It's got woods. It holds water when it rains. It doesn't have like a natural pond or spring, but there's water that, so wildlife comes to it, is my point.
Yep.
Trail system, woods, pasture, all of that for $250. It's for 27 acres. You just can't find it. So, for an example of if a dad wants to take his 2 boys out on a weekend, like that price point is just tough to find that kind of product, and you can do it in that location.
Interesting. Tyler, that may not go on the market. You may have it sold.
I think we actually have like 3 showings on it this weekend.
Really? Oh man, I got to get out there.
Yeah.
That's wild. Yeah, so watching these, like you said, these third-tier markets, these second-tier markets truly thrive. I know it's that we always say from a residential standpoint, it's that drive to you qualify. But I truly think that market, if you get in now, 27 acres at $250.
Oh man,
that's a steal.
It is. It's a big value. You know, that those type of areas historically have not brought that amount of money, but when you're selling it to somebody who's going to use it at, you know, in today's world of a recreational piece, that guy can buy it, just hold on for a couple years, and you know, it might go up in value 10, 15, 20, 25%.
Yep.
And he's, you know, just enjoying it along the way. Or you can wait 10 years and, you know, maybe that area at that point, people do want that 5-acre tract there, or maybe 5 years from now, and you can convert the product, and then that guy, he makes money too, and everybody wins.
Yep.
So
let's get real for a second. Are you dumping money into marketing but barely seeing any results? Go Digital can help. Using their marketing matrix, they zero in on your target audience and engage them where it matters the most. Go Digital acts as your full-service marketing team, saving you the hassle and cost of building an entire in-house team or trusting random gurus you found on the internet. It is also important to note that they don't just serve home service businesses. They own one. They've been in your shoes. They know what works because they've lived it. Wondering why I know so much about them? It's because I've been a client for them over a year, and I couldn't be happier with the results. So if you're ready to start winning more leads for less, hit the link in the show notes and schedule a free 20-minute consultation today. So I got 111 acres in Lawrence. I'm waiting for that to really pop.
I mean, we should talk about it. Absolutely.
I need that one to go big.
I have sold, it's funny that you said that because I just did an evaluation for a gentleman this morning on 130 acres in Lawrence. And between myself, Trip Taylor, Jinx Patrick, our company as a whole has sold kind of in that Lawrence, Gray Court, North Clinton area, probably 10 or 12 plus or minus 100-acre tracts in the past 3 to 4 years. So we've got a pretty good grip on the value of it, and I believe that gentleman's going to want us to take it to market.
Really?
So it's close to the sawmill.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is more like Mountville area.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's what we've got, a 200-acre listing in Mountville right now, right off 560.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh. I'll have to check that out.
Yeah.
We may have to talk off the podcast for
absolutely.
that. So what else are you seeing from a land side? Like, where are you seeing some hot areas that may be under?
Yeah, so I think that, you know, anything that is 30 minutes to 45 minutes away from your hubs, that's just popping right now. So, you know, Clemson is a hub. So Pendleton, Walhalla, which you know, you or I might say Walhalla, but the reality is, like, it's 20 minutes from Clemson.
Yep.
And there's probably a Walmart or a Publix that's 10 minutes from whatever site we're talking about. So, you know, Pendleton, Walhalla, Townsville, right off Hartwell, off the state line. We've got a really cool project going on there. We just sold a cluster of 3 or 4 or 5 lots to a builder, and he's going to bring some spec houses to market. It's going to help everybody out. Dacusville, you know, the TR Berea area, Tigerville. We've got mini farm product available there right now. You know, and then obviously on the other side of the upstate, you know, Spartanburg's, Packlet, Woodruff, Reedville's super hot.
Yep.
Enery, you know, that kind of circles back down to the Gray Court. All these secondary municipalities, people are really just itching for it.
Yep.
We released a little cluster of mini farms in Liberty 2 days ago, and we've got 2 contracts, so one on each of the 6-acre pieces, They're in review right now, but they'll probably come to an agreement. And then there's a 10-acre piece that's even nicer, and I bet you it'll go this weekend. I mean, it goes.
They're just going quick.
Yeah.
So we've talked about mini farm products. What does Reedy offer anything to local builders looking to do minor to that, not necessarily large subdivision size?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we do that. You
Okay.
know, it is when you're calling in these municipalities or people are reaching out to you rather, a lot of the times, you know, the little old lady that might reach out to us because she knows we're from here and she's getting called by some builders. And to fair thought for her is she just doesn't want to be taken advantage of and doesn't know what the right thing is. So, you know, there's plenty of builders that we have relationships with, and if you're on quote unquote main and like, you know, that is what makes sense and that's the price point that the lady wants, she might just hire us to represent her.
Yep.
And then we'll say, hey, these 4 people that have reached out to you, you know, all these random people from out of state, probably not, but these 4, they're good. So if they're talking to you, we can help, you know, walk you through a contract and make some recommendations. These builders have worked with us before. They understand what we're going to want and what we think is right. And we've done it multiple times. I mean, I think that we closed maybe easily 400 acres at the end of last quarter with big name builders.
Okay.
So it is a norm when applicable.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now, are you, from Reedy's standpoint, are you doing entitlement on it? Are y'all subdividing the lots? Are y'all just developing or just handing over the raw land?
Yeah. So we would represent the seller.
Okay.
So if a seller, if the seller's intent is, hey, I'm going to buy this and then I'm going to entitle it, and then I want Reedy to sell it for me, we can do that, and we can work them through that whole process.
Okay.
That is not as popular because normally who we're representing in the sale is the lady that has lived there for 25 years.
Yep.
And she's come to the conclusion that, hey, maybe I should take advantage of what I can get right now. And if her goal, you know, might be to move to North Carolina to be with her grandchildren or whatever it might be, we can help her reach that goal.
Yeah.
It's important to, like, the numbers and stuff and the terms of a contract and making sure that it's, you know, has whoever the buyer is has the good intentions, has reasonable closing expectations. Like, all those things are good, and we'll make sure that we get that seller those terms that they desire or should desire rather. But we want to make sure that we're reaching that person's goal.
Yep.
So what are you trying to get out of this?
Yeah.
And, you know, we will give them our opinion of if today's reality and today's market can obtain that goal.
Yeah.
And if not, we might say, hey, we can't do that right now. It's really just not the market. I know these other people are reaching out to you, telling you this, but it's just not the time. But in 2 years from now, you probably can. So we'll just circle back. Or she might call us a year later and her goals have changed. So, you know, just being a kind of just upfront and vetting out different builders and developers and buyers has proven to us at least to have a pretty good reputation with the local landowners. We internally, Reedy, are all connected, but a lot of us, like somebody's grandma has a farm or somebody grew up on a piece or somebody's father-in-law lives on 80 acres, is like somebody knows somebody that knows us.
Yep.
So being that trusted source to the open public has been good for us, good for the sellers, but even better, just good for the overall community.
Yeah.
So
for consumers listening or builders listening, let's say you got 50 acres, you want to sell it. What does that process look like, just so they know?
Yeah, so first thing is pick up the phone and reach out to us.
Yep.
So we've got a team of 15 or 16 land brokers now. We all kind of focus on individual locations. So you just reach out. You can reach out to us on Facebook, our emails, I'm sure you guys can put that stuff up there. But
Yeah.
Facebook, email, phone number, Instagram, social media handles. You can reach out to the Reedy Land Co page. You can reach out to me personally, whatever it may be. So you'll get in contact with someone, and then that will get filtered to myself, Trip, and Jinx, and we'll decide who it makes the most sense for them to run with. And then that person would go out there and do an evaluation for them, and we'd make a decision internally of what we think is the highest and best use, or how decide what track we need to get on to reach that person's goals.
Yep.
It's really, they're interviewing us, but we're really interviewing them too, because we want to make sure that we present something to them that makes them happy. So, and so they can do whatever it is they need to do to get it closed, and then move forward to check off whatever that box is for them. So it's really just reaching out, letting us do an evaluation. We do it for free.
Okay.
And if they want to move forward with the idea, we can explain to them how we would list it to the open market. We might have some buyers just off the hip and not even have to represent them. There's just all these different ways that we can go.
Yeah.
But the first things first is we need to get on the dirt.
Of course.
Yeah.
Builders, trades, realtors. If you're looking for a flooring partner you can trust, look no further. I'm here to tell you about All About Flooring. All About Flooring is a family-owned business with 3 generations of owners that know the flooring business inside and out. They work in residential and commercial projects for both new builds and remodels by providing high-quality customer service and installation for carpet, area rugs, hardwoods, laminate, luxury vinyl, and more. Y'all, they even provide professional carpet, tile, and upholstery cleaning. At All About Flooring, they're more than just a flooring provider. They're your partner in delivering top-tier results that your customers will absolutely love. You can find their website linked in the show notes, or visit their 9,000 square foot showroom at 2111 North Pleasantburg Drive. Now, let's get back to the show. That's got to be one of the coolest experiences about your job. Like, you get to go explore.
Yeah, it's cool.
Some untapped land.
It is very cool. We're all very blessed, and we appreciate it. It's a gift that we all are able to receive every day, to go out and help the community and have a really good time doing it.
Yeah.
We have a really fun culture also. We're nobody is our boss. We all work with each other, for each other, represent each other, and it's just created this really awesome family culture.
Yep.
And we just want to make sure that people get treated correctly, and we can help them reach whatever goals they are. On the buyer side too. Like, I've had plenty of friends reach out to me in the recent years and say, "Hey man, I don't really know what I'm looking for, but I think I want to, I have a budget of $500,000 and I want to buy the most badass residential home site I can, or I want to buy the most amount of acres I can, and I don't mind going further south, or I want to be 10 minutes from TR, and I know it's going to cost more than that, but I want 25 acres with water." And so when they give us all these details or boxes that they're trying to check off,
Yep.
we bring that in internally. And like I said, we've got 15 or 16 land brokers to its core, and then we have our company, which is another 30 or 40 people, and we'll put the word out to the street per se, and we'll find them the product.
Yep.
Yeah.
I tell you, one thing that I love and that I think Reedy does really good at is, one, the company culture, two, just your branding is phenomenal. But the one thing that really gets me is that deal-making class, that
Sure.
deal-making meeting.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I just sitting in it, I know I've brought some builders in the past, and they love it.
Yeah.
And it may not be the most ideal project for them, but then you've got your team coming up and saying, "All right, well, what are you looking for?"
Yeah, absolutely.
And I know one builder I took, he's a luxury custom home builder. They found 4 or 5 pieces for him. And I know he's pulled the trigger, I think, on 2 of them.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what that meeting is for. And y'all have been a huge benefit to the association, and I'm grateful for that.
No, absolutely. We've enjoyed working with everybody.
Yeah.
We do it once a month. So we have obviously meetings every week internally, but once a month we open up the door to, if you know somebody or you are verbalized to somebody at Reedy that you'd like to come, open doors. We'll have breakfast, biscuits, and coffee, and we might be 60 people in our big open space, and it's really just kind of sharing information, talking about our new listings. Maybe somebody has a buyer, maybe somebody has a seller, and we're just connecting dots and making stuff happen.
I love it. So before we close up, we like to get what is one of the most memorable deals that you've had? It could be positive or it could be a learning experience.
Well, I'll say two. So, the first one, my first deal.
Yeah.
It was 100 acres in Lawrence, and the super nice lady that I created a relationship with, she actually also, I figured out her goal and then brought it to market, and then actually somebody else that I knew bought it. So I was able to check her box, check his box. I sold it quick, so it looked great for us. And then she was so pleased with us that she also owned some rental houses, and my wife at the time was getting into residential real estate. So she got her first listing from this lady also, sold an old historic home in Gray Court, Owings area, and just had a good experience. So it's kind of neat that like the same client, my first true land listing was my wife's first true residential
That's
listing.
fantastic.
Same client, yeah.
That's awesome. You got to keep it in the family.
Yeah, absolutely.
That commission helped too.
Yeah, well, that's a plus. But we, the cool thing about our network, obviously, like that was my wife. But if somebody comes to us, they might come to me and say, "Hey, man, I have a 10,000 square foot flex space building on Whitehorse," and I'm gonna say, just because I like hustling, like, yeah, I probably do know the math of how to do that, but it's not what my day-to-day business is.
Yep.
So I'm going to say, hey, my partner Chandler, he's the best in the business. He knows exactly how to value this. Look at the way he does this. He's going to call you that day, help you out the same way I would if it was raw dirt.
Yeah.
And vice versa. If somebody calls him and they want to talk about 40 acres somewhere, he's going to tell them to call me. We get it done. And then we just are able to bring the client or the prospect to whatever it is that they're wanting to accomplish faster.
I love it.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. That's Reedy Land Co for you.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're ready to help you if you ever need anything. Before we close out, tell them one more time where to reach you.
Yeah, so reedylandco.com.
Okay.
We've got all of our cool listings up there. We have a YouTube page. It's just Reedy Land Co on YouTube. Instagram, Reedy Land Co. A lot of our brokers are just their first names _ Reedy Land Co. Mine is TJ Whims, so Tyler James, first two initials, and then my last name Whims _ Reedy Land Co. If you find one of us, you'll be able to find all the other ones. But I'd encourage everybody to follow us on, especially Facebook and Instagram. We have a lot of fun stuff that we post on there. We've been working really hard on marketing in the past couple of years, and it's been a good time.
Hey, well, like I said, it's some killer content. It's a great company. We're super pleased to have y'all a part of the association. But if you enjoyed today, be sure to listen to the next edition of the Think Big podcast. If you haven't subscribed yet, be sure to subscribe. We can't wait to see you next week. Thanks. Thanks for listening to the Think Big podcast. If you can do me two big favors, if you can subscribe to the podcast to continue getting updates whenever new podcasts drop. And also, if you can scroll to the bottom of the page and just give this podcast a review. We want to continue pushing it out to more people, sharing what we're talking about, and educating more people in the building industry. I would also like to say a huge thank you to two of our sponsors, All About Flooring and Go Digital. If you're interested in sponsoring the Think Big podcast for 2025, be sure to reach out to the HBA of Greenville today. Thanks.